Hey, wait a sec. How do you celebrate 210 years of history in only 2 minutes? You do as we've always done. You go fast. Buckle up, here we go. Introducing the people. Émile, Jules, Armand, Eugène, Ernest, Paulo, Henri, Gérard, Jean.
Je crois qu'on va vivre une grande aventure.
And the hundreds and thousands of men and women whose minds, passion, know-how, and crazy free spirit created these beauties. The weird ones. The game changers. The legends. The bachelor cars. The kids' car. The fast cars. The really fast cars.
C'est probablement la meilleure voiture du monde.
The dirt-loving ones. The sand-hugging ones. The look at me, I'm falling from a plane one. The one everyone loves. The quiet one. The way ahead of their time ones. And all the people who drove them with such gobs of talent. Michel.
Ça fait plaisir de reconduire cette belle voiture.
Simone. Seb. Henri, Marcus, and all the others. This is for you.
Les pilotes, c'est absolument stupéfiant ce qu'ils ont fait.
But did we forget our roots? All those pepper grinders? No. Those bikes? Never. The challenges? The victories? Hell no. And those incredible mustaches? How could we? More than 2 centuries later, the family is still growing. More than ever. Those are 210 years spent breaking the rules. 210 years spent following the wise words of Armand. Apparently, we were bold enough to even expand worldwide. And this is just the beginning.
So thank you very much for coming along. On behalf of Robert Hush, who's the actual dealer principal of this dealership, and he's just standing over there, if you know him, have a wave. Robert Hush, and all the management and staff of the Canberra Automotive Group, I would like to officially welcome everyone here tonight. Thank you for coming along. It is a difficult time around the world, as well as it is here in Australia, but I think we're lucky here in Canberra. We're lucky to be able to host events like this. So really appreciate some of the freedoms we have here, and it's good to share some of these special events with the good people of Canberra. So thank you for coming along. Peugeot finds its beginnings back in 1810. Can you believe that? You know, the first thing someone asked me when they received the invitation was 1810. I don't think cars were around in 1810. So I looked at the history books and I found that, yes, that is the case. However, the company did start. They were producing other things such as saws, umbrella frames and coffee grinders. So that Peugeot name, an iconic French name, has been around for 210 years. 210 Let's Go is the theme of our night tonight, and it's what we're celebrating together with our friends at Peugeot Australia. So Peugeot, it's won quite a few awards. Yeah, it's been the European Car of the Year a few times over, and tonight we have the special privilege of also seeing the brand new Peugeot 288, which is going to be a special event tonight, special premiere, because the car's not actually being released until next year. So the people of Canberra are very lucky to be able to see this vehicle tonight and to hear a little bit about the car and what it's going to bring to all the Peugeot fans here in Canberra and Australia. But we'll hear more about the car later. I want to first acknowledge officially and pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the land that were gathered here today, we gather on today, the Ngunnawal people, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I also want to acknowledge some of the VIPs that are here tonight. They're also speakers, so you get a chance to see them up here on stage. We have Her Excellency and Acting French Ambassador to Australia, Julie Le Sals. Where are you, Julie? And they're just over here to my left. We also have Kate Gillies, who's the General Manager of Peugeot Australia. Kate's right there in the middle, stand next to Daniel Morris, who's also a Senior Manager of Peugeot Australia, who have both come down from Sydney, so thank you for coming along. We'll be hearing from Brad Pillins. Brad's a local. He's also the President of the French Car Club of Canberra. So a massive fan of this iconic brand, and Brad will also be up shortly to say a few things. Nancy Waits, CEO of Alliance Francaise, will also be part of our celebration tonight. We'll hear from Nancy very soon. And one of the most important people in the room, the person that has supplied the wine, Christophe Reboux from French Flair Wine Tasting will be coming up here as well and talking about the actual wines you're enjoying tonight. So he's brought a fair few. So please make sure, if you haven't already indulged in these fine wines, to do so and enjoy some of the fantastic wines on offer. So they're our special guests amongst, obviously, all of you, our customers, friends and Peugeot fans. So welcome very much to this evening again. Now, for a lot of us, actually all of us, we can't go to France for a while. So we thought we'll bring a bit of French to Canberra and to Peugeot Canberra here tonight. So hopefully you've already enjoyed some of the food. We've got some fun French music happening in the background, and we'll obviously hear from some of our VIPs about some of the things that are going on with respect to France and this iconic brand, of course. So, without further ado, actually, some housekeeping before I do that. So if you haven't already realised, we've got some valet parking. Everyone's stressed out about where they park their car. You're welcome to park here, and the gentlemen in the white coats will park at the back. Bathrooms are in the far corner over there to my right. And if there is an emergency, or perhaps a COVID emergency, we just go straight out the door. Plenty of sanitizer around the place as well. But again, we're lucky in Canberra. We just need to keep safe and stay hopeful and objective about what's going to happen over the next little while. So Peugeot 210, let's go. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring to the stage, first of all, our acting French ambassador, Julie Lascelles. Please put your hands together for Julie.
Bonsoir, messieurs et mesdames. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure and an honor to be here in my capacity as chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of France in Australia. Australia is our key strategic partner, and this excellent partnership extends well beyond our diplomatic ties. It also rests on the strong historical ties companies like Peugeot maintain and continue to develop in Australia. Peugeot, founded in 1810, as you were mentioning, so happy birthday, Peugeot. Peugeot is one of the oldest and most famous automotive brands. It's the second car maker in Europe and among the world's top 10. The marque has an incredibly long heritage in Australia, and because, believe it or not, the iconic Peugeot 203, if I'm not mistaken, who not only was assembled in Australia, but also won in 1953 the first Red X trial, I'm told. From now on, Peugeot chooses innovation and electrification. It's way forward in Australia, and is very well positioned to take the lead with plug-in hybrid and electrical vehicles. This period is one of hardships and adaptation, but we will never surrender to the pandemic or collective dedication to making the French-Australian partnership even stronger. These days, we need more cultural and commercial business exchanges, not less. And this event tonight is an excellent opportunity to create and foster ties between the Francophile community here in Canberra. Very well represented tonight, so you've been mentioning some of their most prominent figures, and I would like to pay a special tribute to our friends of the Alliance Française in Canberra. Thank you, Nancy, here, and I know that Christina is somewhere. And then, as you know, the contribution of the Alliance Française network in Australia to the promotion of French language and culture, especially through the Alliance Française French Film Festival, is absolutely outstanding. And if the Alliance is a hotspot for culture, education, and social events today, it owes it to the dedication of its leadership, who is here tonight. I wish you all the best to the Peugeot 2008 SUV, and I'm sure this will be a tremendous success tonight. So enjoy the evening, enjoy this very French evening. Bonne soirée and have fun, amusez-vous. Merci beaucoup. Et vive Peugeot.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Julie Lascelles. Very nice, very nice. All right, so next on the list, and look, they're very short speeches, so don't stress out, we're not going to be here forever. We'll get an opportunity to talk about cars very soon, and the man who's going to kick that off for us is Mr. Brad Pillins, the President of the French Car Club of Canberra. Brad, if you can come up to the microphone, I'll adjust it for you as you come up.
Thanks very much, Mirko. I bought my first Peugeot in 1973 when I was a student, and I have not been without a Peugeot in the ensuing 47 years, sometimes more than one. At the moment we have three in the family. A 508 Peugeot, but we also have a 404 Peugeot from the 1960s. On the screen over there is a picture of a car that I owned for several years in Canberra in the mid-2000s. It's a Peugeot 203 or 203. That's the same model as the wagon over there. And these were the Peugeots that grabbed the imagination of the Australian people when they won the Red X Round Australia trial in 1953. And after that trial, Peugeot showrooms were completely cleaned out around the country, and the beginning of mod Peugeot began in Australia. Not only in the Red X trials, but of course Peugeot built a reputation in motorsport, in all forms of motorsport, right from the earliest Grand Prix in France, through to the World Rally Championship, the East African Safari Rally, you name it, they've done it and dominated. Le Mans 24-hour race, 3 times winners of that. So the brand is there, and motorsport excites enthusiasts. And I am an enthusiast, as you might have guessed, for 47 years. We know the story of Peugeot. Mirko and Julie have briefly mentioned. 1810 is the sort of beginning of the modern Peugeot company, when the family converted a flour mill into a steel mill, and they started making steel things of various kinds. But it wasn't until 1887 that Peugeot produced its first car, and that was powered by a steam engine. Not built by Peugeot. The first all Peugeot car came in 1894, and from there the marque went from success to success. Those early years got me thinking, what would be the oldest Peugeot in Australia? When did they first come here, and what's the oldest surviving Peugeot in the country today? They were certainly here from the early 1900s. I went on to the Trove website at the National Library and searched newspapers to see when the first advertisement for Peugeot was in Australia. There it is, the West Australian, 1903. A local car dealer was advertising Dion, Humber and Peugeot cars, as well as Sterling buses and Straker steam wagons. Some of those marques, of course, still exist today. But prior to that, one or two Peugeots came into the country. And what intrigued me most was whether or not we could establish an older Peugeot pre-1903. And the reason for this was, having spent time in New Zealand, I know that the oldest Peugeot in New Zealand is a 1903 Type 54 on display in the museum in Wellington. And if we can't beat the Kiwis at rugby, let's beat them for the oldest Peugeot. So it's a series of historic pictures just coming up showing some early Peugeots. That's the oldest Peugeot that I've seen in Australia. That's a 1903 Type 56. It was owned by a man called George Hentrell in South Australia. He's since died and the car has gone on to someone else, I'm not sure who. So that doesn't really win the battle with the Kiwis. It's a tie, 1903. This is possibly an earlier one that was photographed in Tasmania. It was owned by the editor of the Hobart Mercury around about 1903. We're not quite sure of the age of that, and I haven't seen that car recently. We do know that there were pictures of old Peugeots pre-1903 in various workshops. This one's a picture of a driver at the front Peugeot, probably a Type 15. These were made between 1897 and 1901, so that's definitely an older one than the Kiwis. There's the old Peugeot in the Wellington Museum, a 1903 Type 54, and I think the next picture is just a lovely picture of the then Premier of New Zealand at the wheel of an early Peugeot, somewhere down the south coast of the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand in 1905. So we come to Australia's oldest Peugeot car. There's not much left of it, actually. It's a 1897 Type 15 Peugeot, a chassis held by the Birdwood Motor Museum in South Australia. There is a Type 15 that was imported several years ago. That's in Victoria. That's fully restored and going. That's an 1899 model. That would be Australia's oldest going Peugeot and gives us bragging rights with our friends across the Tasman. There's a newspaper. So that's the oldest Peugeot car, but it's not the oldest Peugeot in Australia because Peugeot made other things. And I'm coming to the end now. They made saw blades, they made chisels, they made umbrella rods, they made stays for women's corsets, and they made the framework for the dresses that, you know, were like this in Victorian times. So the oldest Peugeot in Australia may not be a car. It could be a bicycle, it could be something else. And we've done a little bit of research in the Peugeot clubs in Australia, and the oldest known Peugeot in Australia is a chisel. And it was made in the 1860s, and it's held by a family who I know in the Hunter Valley. I would have liked to have a picture of the oldest Peugeot chisel in Australia for you tonight, but we couldn't get a picture soon enough. I'll have that another time. So as a prelude, Peugeot has been in Australia for a long time. 70 years separates the station wagon over there from the car we're going to unveil tonight, but the heritage goes back further. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Brad. Fantastic rundown of the history of Peugeot. She's 1897. I think, Hushy, you were an apprentice back then, weren't you? starting your career in the car industry.
No, I was working on the course.
Very good. Thank you, Brad. Fantastic creation. It's good to have the car at the back there, which was the 203, Peugeot 203 from 1953, as Brad said. Trying to work out what colour that is or what you'd call that car. Some sort of beige, perhaps, or a nude, maybe a nude? Something like that. All right, we keep moving on. I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't already, there is a bowl going around that's designed to put your business card in. And if you haven't got a business card, we've got some blank ones you can write your name on. So if you haven't done that already, please take the opportunity before you leave tonight to do that, because we are giving away a prize. Maybe shortly after the speeches, so if you can, we'll finish the speeches, we'll have a break. If you haven't done that already, you can put your business card in the bowl and then we'll draw that shortly after, which should be great. So, next, changing the order as I can as the MC. So, one of the strategic alliances that we're just about to form is with our friends at Alliance Francaise. Now, the good thing about that is, if you've always wanted to learn French, to speak French, one of the most popular languages in the world, much like myself, very eloquent, we have a French teacher here tonight walking around the room. At the back over there. No, wait, walk behind me. Okay, shoulders. Okay. So, if you want a couple of quick tips, how to order a beer or discuss a wine or perhaps buy a car. The opportunity is here tonight to learn how to say that in French, so please take the opportunity to do so. But that brings me to our new partnership with Alliance Francaise. I'd like to call to the microphone the new CEO for Alliance Francaise in Canberra, Nancy Waits. Let's put your hands together.
Bonsoir à toutes et à tous. Je m'appelle Nancy, je suis la directrice de l'Alliance Française de Canberra. And as the director of the Alliance Française de Canberra, it's just a pleasure to see so many of our partners here tonight. We have, of course, our friends in the French Embassy, Julie, and I saw Boris as well, turning up tonight. And of course, Christophe from French Flair, with whom we do many dégustations or wine tastings at the Alliance Française, because not only do we teach the beautiful French language, but we also celebrate the culture of France and other French-speaking countries. And of course, that involves plenty of wine and really good cheese. So check out our website for the next wine and cheese tasting. Also, of course, we have here tonight Les Bistronomes, who's another one of our partners with whom we've done events in the past with their glorious food. And finally, and most importantly, Peugeot, and with whom we will be launching tonight our partnership. And there will be something very exciting happening in our French Film Festival next year in March. So put 4 March in your diary for next year. Of course, coronavirus will be over and we'll all be celebrating. So tonight really is about building partnerships, celebrating these networks, and that is what the Alliance Française is here to do in Canberra. Our mission is to build community and celebrate French and Francophone culture and history, and what a history Peugeot has that we've been hearing about tonight. In fact, a couple of years ago I was over in Alsace, which is the region of France where there is the largest automobile museum in the world, and there are hundreds of cars in this huge barn, and the vast majority of them are Peugeots, telling that amazing history we've been hearing tonight. And I will also say, in those 3 months I was living in Alsace, I very happily drove a 2008 Group Edition, fantastic car, so I can't wait to see tonight's car. But as you're dreaming about driving along in a fabulous Peugeot, living the French dream, I'd encourage you to imagine yourself speaking fluent, fabulous French as you glide stylishly along. So,
fulfill that wonderful image of yourself, do go see Floriane and learn to start speaking French and to say Peugeot as elegantly as Julie did, because Français is very much la belle langue, and I encourage you all to come and join us at the Alliance Française. We make learning so much fun. It's all about having a social fun time as well as learning such a beautiful language. So, à bientôt, à très bientôt, and I hope to see you soon at the Alliance Française de Canberra.
So we wanted to obviously formalise the relationship we're starting here with Alliance Française by presenting Nancy with something to kick off the partnership with, and I'll ask Robert Hush, our dealer principal, to present a rather big cheque to Alliance Française. So please put your hands together.
Really excited to be involved in the French culture in Canberra. It's so exciting for me to be part of that. Took me a while to learn Japanese. Now I need to learn French, but
it's easier. It's easier.
It's easier. Well, you promised me that.
I have.
You promised
and
me
I do
that.
speak Japanese as well, so I know.
And when we decided to form a partnership, Nancy said, that'd be great. You know, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of festivals, there's film festivals, there's wine tasting, there's a whole lot of exciting things to do. But you didn't tell me that I had to put a deposit of $5,000 on it. Okay? But it is a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to have that partnership, Nancy. You've won me over.
Well, glad to hear it. The amazing French language can achieve many things.
Congratulations.
Well, merci beaucoup. And we look forward to the French language.
Okay, thank you, Hashi, and thank you, Nancy. We'll give you the real cheque later. All right, so that's fantastic. And the film festival starts when?
The 4th of March.
March next year. Okay, looking forward to that very much. All right, so now I'm going to call upon one of our special guests that's come all the way from Sydney, a non-hotspot, who is the General Manager of Peugeot Australia. Kate Gillies, if I can ask you to come up to the stage, please. Please put your hands together for Kate.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with Daniel, my colleague, both from Sydney. So, my name is Kate Gillis. I'm General Manager of Peugeot Citroën Australia, and you know what an exciting occasion to be here on the launch of our all-new 2008. We really believe that this is one of the most exciting launches for Peugeot in some time, and we've just gone through some of the magnificent history of Peugeot, not only as a brand for 210 years, but also within Australia. But what we're going to see today is really a significant signal, I guess, for that future. So what the 2008 does is it truly reflects the values of the brand, and the values of the brand are held very, very tightly. It's about uncompromised quality, it's about sharp design and instinctive driving experiences. And Peugeot's commitment to these values is deeply rooted in the 2008, and you'll see it tonight, and hopefully you might get a chance to test drive.
Absolutely.
Maybe tomorrow.
Take an order.
Yes.
Take orders.
So it has been a big year for Peugeot, as you've heard. 26th of September just being celebrated. Peugeot celebrated its 210th year. So that's over 2 centuries of creating passion and excellence and the instinct of driving. And it's this passion that really has allowed it to be indestructible. Peugeot is one of the oldest brands in the world, and it doesn't just endure time, it constantly reinvents time, and it has done so for over 200 years. That is firmly within the brand's DNA and will continue to be so. We are on the eve of a very vibrant era, I guess, for Peugeot. All of the lineups that you're going to see, starting really from now, are beautiful, stylish, they're confident, they're independent, and they demand to be noticed. This really commenced in September last year with the launch of the 508 in 2019, and a beautiful, bold-looking sedan and touring wagon with these great proportions and great styling really gave us a hint of what was to come from the Peugeot brand. So the 2008 epitomises and signals the future for this design platform. It's entering into what is a very competitive segment of the market, that is the small SUV, but we really truly believe that it is going to shake up this segment with its distinctive new look. So just to give you a little bit of a tidbit in terms of what's coming up, we are launching the 2008, but also into next year. It's an exciting time for Peugeot. We have the launch of our Midlife 3008. That's an award-winning medium-size SUV. There's a beautiful copper one, I think it might be this gentleman's here, copper one sitting outside. It's absolutely magnificent. So we've got a midlife launch of that in mid 2021. And then exciting, we've got more or less a two-step launch to get us to electrification. By the middle of the year, or just slightly into the second half of the year, we have our PHEV launch, which will be exciting, and that really starts to stem the way for electrification, which I'm sure you would have seen that in the press, particularly coming from overseas. But also not forgetting the addition to the Peugeot stable of 3 new light commercial vehicles, and we've got one here, all beautifully dressed up as blue. And these feature really high levels of standard safety specification, including a wide range standard format of autonomous emergency braking. That really is a first for any other marque in the market. And so you could argue that this level of quality is really only left to the luxury car makers to create, but we've got it here with Peugeot. But back to the all-new 2008. We realise that there's a good number of brands within that busy segment that we talked about, but this is an opportunity for Peugeot to be truly visible. We have had very humble beginnings from 70 years ago of Peugeot, and our stories are very rich and well told, and it's been a history of good times and probably not so good times at some point. But now we are definitely re-emerging all the more better for the experience. So once again, absolutely delighted to be here. It's certainly worth the 3-hour drive here and the 3-hour drive back to see this magnificent setup. So congratulations to Peugeot Canberra, and looking forward to unveiling this little beauty under the wrap. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Craig. I'm glad you mentioned the commercial range, because there's a few businesses and business owners in the room here that have been asking about, you know, the expert over here, named after me, the partner, which is a small van, very popular for restaurants and businesses that need to carry some stuff around but don't need a bulky big van. And obviously there's the big boy called the Boxer, also a very capable van for somebody that needs to carry a lot more stuff, such as electrical stuff over there, push bikes, you know, security, magazines, I'm just guessing, car wash machinery, some of the other people in the room, all that sort of stuff. All that sort of stuff. So don't be shy. Please ask away if you've got any questions about those vans. The staff here will be welcome. Will be very excited to explain them to you. Now, Robert Hush obviously is the dealer principal. We've got a couple of salespeople here because I know you're dying to ask questions about the cars. So after these speeches, Pina over there, wave your hand. Is our new car expert. Rob Cameron, where are you, mate? Rob, wave your hand up the back there. He's our pre-loved expert as well. So, and there's a mixture of other staff in the room. Our fleet manager's here as well. Don, our financial controller's here, who's going to pay for the evening tonight. So thanks for coming along, Scott. All very good. And I wanted to indulge for a second, just to explain that the General Automotive Group purchased Peugeot in July last year. We're very excited about bringing this franchise to a group. We've never had it before. The General Automotive Group has been in Canberra since the 80s. It's well known through some other brands it represents, such as Toyota, Volvo, Mitsubishi, Honda, Subaru, and a few others. But we're very excited to bring Peugeot along and to have that connection with France and all things French, and to be able to offer vehicles that have got that European design and look for a specific type of buyer that's very popular here in Canberra. And it's been an excellent sort of acquisition. We even employed a service manager who can speak French, just to make sure that our connection is there in the service department. Bianca's over there at the door. We're doing a fantastic job with some of our customers that unfortunately went away from the franchise for whatever reason, some of the challenges that Kate talked about over the years. We lost a few, but we brought a few back, and we're hoping to grow some more over the next few years, that's for sure. All right, so what we're going to do now is hear from our wine expert, French Flair tasting expert. Please give a warm welcome to Christophe Legault.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mirko. So, yes, I'm Christophe, the founder and owner of French Flair Food and Wine, importing wine into Australia. I'm originally a winemaker, but also I'm very connected to Peugeot because my first car was actually a Peugeot 205 back in the days when I was in France. And I had many Peugeot along the way, and my first car when I bought a car in Australia was a Peugeot. So I'm connected to the brand, and I've got a glass holder Peugeot item at home to drain the glass, so it's pretty easy, you don't have to dry them. So Peugeot has been in my life for a long time. But yeah, enough of Peugeot now, I think, talking about a bit of wine. So I just brought a little selection of wine tonight for you to try. So they're all French, obviously. You start with a beautiful champagne made of Pinot Noir, which is a little originality, the grapes coming from the south of the appellation, so nice and ripe, plenty of fruitiness, but still nice and creamy. Then you have two options, in white and in red. So one of the white is from the Loire Valley, a Chenin Blanc from Domaine de la Taillolou, so a benchmark winemaker in the Loire Valley. So a wine that is very fresh, very zingy, but beautiful complexity. You've got also Chardonnay from Burgundy, a bit more classical, from Denis Jandot, a benchmark producer as well, supplying many fine dining restaurants around France and Australia, because I supply as well many fine dining in Australia, sorry, my English. And also two reds, so light reds, fruity and easy to drink, but beautiful complexity, very terroir oriented. And spicy, powerful Shiraz, Syrah we say in France, from the northern Rhône, from Domaine du Tunnel, a Cornas. So feel free to try them all. They're all benchmark producer in France, and great wine to go with the beautiful food of Les Bistronomes. And if you want to know more about the wine, I'm going to be around, and don't hesitate to come and talk to me. Thank you very much, and enjoy the wine, the food, and the evening.
Thank you, Christophe. My wife always wanted me to have an accent like you, for some reason. All right, so I am going to switch over to some music now, if we have our music person ready to go. So Kate, if I could ask you and Hashi to perhaps grab different ends of the veil, so we can now, without further ado, present the new SUV Peugeot 2008. Wait for the music though. I think it's appropriate. Bring it up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the new Peugeot 2008. Please take some photos, have a look around. I'll be back up here shortly with some more stuff. Don't forget about the business cards. Business cards in the bowl if you wouldn't mind. It's a fantastic prize. Thank you. So if you want, if you need some cards, so just come up to the stage here, and we'll put them over here so I can grab it. So Pina.
Get your cards.
Please come up here with some blank business cards here. You originate one in the bowl. We'll be drawing it in about 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can just grab your attention for a couple of minutes, we're going to do the draw. Fantastic draw. Any last minute business cards out here? You'll see dropped. You can't go in it yourself. Staff are allowed to go in it. Oh, it's not staff. It's not staff. Any other business cards? No? All good? Now to explain what you...
One more card.
Thank you, Dana. Nicholas, OAM, Canberra. Alright, so to explain what you're going to win, this is Sarah Robertson from her Canberra. So give her a warm welcome.
Comment ça va? Oh, le singe est sous la table. That means the monkey's under the table. Let that go far. You're welcome. So the prize tonight is a night for two at the 5-star hotel realm in Wellington. Plus you get a dinner for two, food, drinks at Buffet, and breakfast is at Ostani. But the best thing's a late checkout. So have breakfast before, then go back to bed, whatever it is that you do. I think that's the bonus as far as I can see. And a car. You get to use a car for the weekend. Hushy. It's your car, yeah? Yeah. Not this one. The 508. The 508 for the weekend. So insurance will be quite well. All right, so we're going to draw this random draw. Not too.
Sorry, Hashi.
All right, let's do this. Oh no, there's no name. Le Bistro, no! wasn't red wine. Although there's a lot of black calves in there. So congratulations.
There's more. There's more. Congratulations, Laura. Robert, the chef over there, thank you for supplying the food tonight. It's very tasty. Desserts have been going around. If you haven't had any, make sure you do. There's a few left from right here. And Christophe, is there much wine left?
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of wine left as well. A few beers left as well. Some Perrier. Thanks to our friends at Peugeot who brought the van that supplies the Perrier. So thank you very much. So it's fitting that Les Bistronomes won that one because they're sort of donating the next one, which is a dining experience at Les Bistronomes. Now, everybody here can be a winner. Everybody, can you believe that? We're going to draw a name in a second and I'll give away this dining voucher, valued at $210. Funny that, 210 years, full of love. But everyone can be a winner. If you buy a car over the next couple of days, we will give you one of these anyway. Oh. Can you believe that? And a fuel card. So if you haven't seen our advertising, next couple of days, Peugeot Canberra is having a massive sale. So for every vehicle that you purchase, you will win the French dining experience. So a fuel card. Make sure you get to drive in your beautiful new car all over the place except Victoria. That's next week, hopefully. So let's hope. So, Sarah, enjoy. Clara NG? Clara? Are you here? Come up, Clara, and I'll give this voucher to you straight away.
That's faster.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks. Enjoy dinner. So that wraps up our formalities for the evening, but look, feel free to mingle, have another look at the vehicle, have a chat. As Christophe said, there's plenty of wine left. Please try it if you haven't had a chance yet. There's food left as well. And I think we're going to close off the evening with Robert Hush saying something.
I just want to mention, folks, there's a lot of interest in the 2008. We have 2 vehicles, but appointment only in the next 2 days. So please see Pena and make your appointment. We'd hate the inconvenience of the people lining up. So make an appointment with Pena for the next couple of days, and you're quite welcome to have a drive. Okay? And I thank you Kate and Daniel, for letting us do that. I know it's a privilege, and I thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert Hush, General Principal of Peugeot Canberra, and thank you to all the VIPs, all the guests that spoke, particularly Her Excellency Gilles Sales, who's the Charge d'Affaires, or the acting French ambassador, and also Boris Toucas is at the back there waving. Boris is the culture attaché for the French embassy here in Canberra as well. So welcome along, and thank you everybody again. Thanks for coming along and making this a special event for us. 210 years. That's a fairly decent birthday, and a great way to celebrate a brand new model in 2008. Thank you very much. Thank you for visiting Peugeot Canberra, and stay safe.
Bam bam, ça se passe, j'ai sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant dans mon whisky. Quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. En 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, une louloute est venue chez moi, poupée de cellophane, cheveux chinois, un sparadrap, une gueule de bois, a bu ma bière dans un grand verre en caoutchouc, comme un indien dans son igloo. Ça plane pour moi, ça plane pour moi, ça plane pour moi.